is a warning.
Alright, so I saw the Batman, and I wanted to give a review on it. Try to do as accurate and honest and spoiler free as I can. So, for very starters, I had made a video way back when the trailer was released, and yeah, I put some predictions in there, and I was way off. Okay, I was completely wrong. So, F me, right? I tried though. Now moving forward, I've read a lot of reviews from, not really like official reviews, but like from fans and stuff, that said that they think this movie is better than The Dark Knight, it's better than the Nolan trilogy, that it's possibly the best Batman movie ever, and I have to say I don't agree with that. Maybe I'm a little biased because I've seen The Dark Knight 18 times and almost know the whole movie word for word, and I've listened to the score thousands of times and can almost, make the songs from memory, a cappella. But that movie by far was not better than Dark Knight, and it definitely isn't better than the Nolan trilogy. That's still top dog. Also, in all fairness, there were a couple of groups of people, I should say, that left the theater that I was in. I only know this because they were in my row and they left and never came back. So, yeah. The thing is, and I can understand why they did that, is because the movie is pretty slow. Not pretty slow, it's very slow. The pacing is boring, kind of. And it's a 3-hour movie, and for sure, it feels 3 hours. Again, I saw a review on YouTube where the guy says, oh, it's a 3-hour movie and it doesn't even feel like 3 hours, it feels like 2 hours. No, it felt like 4 hours. I mean, it was starting to get to the point where even me, a massive Batman fan, was starting to be like, okay, is this almost over? Like, I'm ready to go now. And that was probably at the 2-hour mark, because it felt like I was sitting there forever until the movie actually was over. However, despite all this, I'm not trying to say the movie was bad at all. It wasn't. It was a decent movie. It kind of did its own direction, though. See, most Batman movies that we've had, or actually all of them, are all just about Batman fighting crime, and, the typical way that we've seen things, the fun way, if you will. Well, Batman's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and that's basically what this movie was. It was the first movie with Batman being a detective, not a crime fighter. Additionally, he's only in his second year, so he's still like a rookie, he doesn't have too much experience. He does have Gordon, he is working with Gordon, but he's not really the veteran guy that we're used to, how everyone just knows, oh my god, Batman and stuff. He's kind of still new. Yes, he has a reputation. Criminals do fear him and such, and the police scorn him because he's a vigilante, but, still a rookie. Anyhow, so some of the things that I did like were that it was, for starters, it definitely was a very believable world. I mean, a lot of Gotham City, when they showed the city, reminded me of New York. Like, I don't know where the movie was filmed, but if I had to guess, I would say it was filmed in New York, because a lot of it looked like New York. Additionally, some of the other aspects were kind of real too, like, his bat signal isn't... So normally the bat signal is part of, like, police, it's for Gordon and such. This bat signal was more kind of like in an abandoned warehouse, if you will. It was just a random place. I mean, maybe I'm an idiot and I misinterpreted, but that's what I saw it as. And then you had the characters that were more realistic. So for starters, Penguin. Penguin's usually seen as just some guy who's disfigured. He's got problems, and so he's just Penguin, like the one in the Michael Keaton movie. What is that? Batman Return of... I don't know what that gets called. But, that movie. He's got the weird hands, and all that. He lives in the sewers. He's got a weird body. This Penguin was way realer. He's just a guy, and it's like he's in the mob, and I don't really understand what his ranking was. He was either second ranked or third. I don't know. They talked about Maroni, Falcone, and him, so he's either second or third ranked. Somewhere, kind of a top dog. And yeah, basically his name is Penguin, just like his mob nickname. You know how they always give nicknames, Johnny Two Times, or Little Paulie, or this or that. Well, he got Penguin. And who else? You have Catwoman. I'm not totally sure on Catwoman's origins and all this. I don't know, just never really paid attention to her. She's not one of my top characters. But from what I do know, she's just a petty thief who has some fighting skills. And, in terms of Star Wars, she's just a scoundrel. She does what's best for her. In this movie, they made her a little bit more realistic. She has an actual purpose for why she does what she does. Granted, you don't find out right away. You find out about halfway through the movie. And even then, I think they want it to be like a oh moment, but it's more like, oh, but still. Makes it make sense. Even her mask. Her mask is, I don't know if this is a spoiler or if it was in the trailer or not, so just in case, spoiler alert! Her mask is a ski mask that she just kind of chops up. Well, anybody can do it. What's a ski mask? $5 and then you chop it up? She doesn't have something fancy and expensive and over the top. It's very basic. I mean, her outfit's a little fancy, but I don't know. That could just be like a motorcycle outfit. I'm not entirely sure. I was trying to figure it out. But yeah, she's pretty realistic-ish and has a real motive for why she does what she does. And then you have Riddler. I feel like Riddler, they actually made kind of cool. Riddler is usually just like a C-tier character. He's nothing special. He doesn't really have powers. He's just there. But this one, they made him very realistic. I mean, for the most part, he reminded me of the Zodiac Killer. He sent cryptid messages. He was taunting the police. I mean, now that it's based more on like today's world, so there's social media. So he was putting posts up on his blog or whatever. It was more realistic. He wasn't just some guy who's like, oh, I got powers for no reason, like Mr. Freeze. He was just a serial killer. And even then, he was a serial killer with a real motive. He wasn't, Zodiac Killer, from what I understand, was just kind of random. He just killed whoever, just because he could. Where Riddler was more going after people in positions of power who were very corrupted and didn't follow through with any of their plans and promises that they made. And then you have Gordon. Gordon was, the only thing I didn't like about Gordon that was weird was he didn't seem to have family. Normally Gordon always is all about family. He's always got his wife and his kids, at least Barbara, they're always there. And this Gordon seemed to just always be available for Batman. Never any talk about his family, never anything, just always there. Oh, hey, there's Batman, I gotta be there too. But it was cool, they were boys. He was always working very closely with Batman, helping protect him against the other police and stuff. There's even one scene where, he really helps him a lot, and it's kind of cool on his part. And then you have Batman. So, this one, the thing for me was kind of weird is because this is more detective. He wasn't really Batman like we're used to seeing, with just being hard and bad, just going out and beating up the bad guys and being cool. He was hardcore detective, and so it always made it kind of weird. Like, he was dressed up in his bat suit to go out and see a crime scene, and I don't know, it's just kind of goofy. It's like, this is what Batman, I guess, is supposed to be, but it's weird. It makes more sense with him dressing up and fighting criminals, because he's trying to conceal his identity, and at the same time, the costume is not only functional with protection, some armor and stuff, and have his belt full of gadgets, but it's also to inflict fear, especially in the beginning when he's a new crime fighter. He sneaks out of the shadows and scary mask and all black and big and brooding. Where when you're hanging out on a crime scene in the middle of the day with all these other officers, it's kind of weird to be dressed up like a weirdo. So that was kind of weird. But and then Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. that was kind of weird too. He was very, how do I put this, like antisocial and quiet and almost like depressed, and it was weird. But at the same time, I feel like even though it seems weird, it might be the best iteration of him. I mean, you gotta think, he's a guy who lost his parents from a young age, and he's probably traumatized by that, and now he's trying to do something about it as an adult. Like, he wouldn't be all chipper and happy-go-lucky and out in the public eye like Batman, like Bruce Wayne usually is seen as. He'd be kind of reclusive. You know, what was it supposed to be? He was 8 when his parents were killed. So you wouldn't just be a hunky-dory, happy-go-lucky guy. You probably would be weird and reclusive like him. So it's almost like, maybe this is the best version. Seems weird on the surface, but then when you really think about it, it's like, as far as his batsuit's pretty cool. It does have a lot of cool new features that you've never seen before, so that's pretty cool. I liked it. And I also liked his Batmobile. His Batmobile is very much realistic out of all of them, probably. I like the Tumbler from the Chris Nolan trilogy. It's a cool vehicle. It's big and beefy, and you know, it can roll over all your enemies no problem. But this one in the Batman made the most sense. It was like, it's just a car that a rich guy modified, basically. That's what it comes down to. Which means you could do that in real life too. If you got the money and the time, well, you don't even need the time, you just put it in the shop. If you got the money, you could make that car. So that was kind of cool, I thought. And then, like, he also has a motorcycle, but at the end of the day, his motorcycle is just a normal motorcycle. It's not like the Bat Pod from the Chris Nolan's movies. That was kind of custom. It came out of the Tumbler when it blew up and stuff. This one in the Batman, he just has a regular motorcycle. I mean, I'm pretty sure he drives the same one during the day when he's Bruce Wayne that he drives at night as Batman. So, like, that was kind of cool. Just more realism. Yeah, so that's the characters. As far as the story goes, I don't know, maybe I was starting to get bored or something, but it seems like Batman was trying to interrogate everybody and get an answer to a question that just never happened. It's like there ends up being a big final clash, and when that happens, it's like everything that he's been working towards just seems to fall to the wayside. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. We got this going on now. I don't know. But, yeah, as far as Batman being Batman, though, he really isn't Batman until the very end. Towards the very end, that's when there's this cool, huge, big final fight where it's like 50 guys with guns and everything, and then he's just Batman, going hard, going through, kicking everyone's butt, and then it was cool. Like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for the whole movie, not this detective nonsense. But yeah, I guess that's kind of my final thoughts without trying to give away too much. It's a decent movie. It's definitely long, and it feels long, and it's very slow, but it's good. But as far as being the new best Batman and better than Dark Knight, no. I saw Dark Knight in theaters. I was not bored. I never felt like I'm ready to go. And that movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes. This one's about 3 hours. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's like 2:55. But this one felt long and boring. Dark Knight didn't. So Dark Knight still is the top dog, but this one was pretty good. I guess if I had to give it a rating out of, like, say 10 stars, I'd give it like an 8.5 at this time. I definitely need to watch it again in the comfort of my own home, because a lot of times movies seem to be better then. Like, for example, when Iron Man 3 came out, I saw that in theaters with a friend, and we both left disappointed. The way that the trailer hyped it up and stuff and what you ended up actually having just did not align. And, yeah, I hated it. I was like, that was terrible. That was not Iron Man 3. That was Tony Stark 1. But after it came out for home release and I've owned it and watched it several more times, I'm pretty sure that's my favorite Iron Man movie now. Pretty sure it was Iron Man 3, 1, and then 2, in that order. So who knows? Maybe when this comes out in 3 months and I can buy it and watch it at home, maybe I'll feel differently about it. Maybe it will become my top movie. But at this time, definitely not the top, but also not bad. Again, like I said, though, it went a different direction. You know, it went detective versus what we usually do. So, in that vein, yeah, it's the best one, because it's the only option that went that way. But, yeah, I guess that's all I got for now. If there's any comments, maybe that will help me come up with another review, or maybe I'll think about it more and have more to say. But for now, yeah, probably like a 8.5, 85%. Not the best, but not that bad either.